All right, let's talk about XChat. It's one of the most ambitious reboots we've seen from X, a total reinvention of their messaging platform. They're pitching it as the absolute future of communication, but the real question is it really secure enough for your private life? Let's dig in.
And look, the vision here, coming straight from Elon Musk himself, it's huge. He's not just talking about a simple update to your DMs. He calls it a whole new architecture, and that means they're promising a complete revolution. You see, this isn't just about sending messages. You gotta understand, XChat is meant to be the beating heart of their whole everything app strategy. The big picture is to create something like a Western version of WeChat, where everything, your social life, your private chats, even your money through X Money, all exist in one seamless place. So that brings us to the big question, right? When one single app wants to handle everything from your silly memes to your serious money, the security has to be absolutely bulletproof. So let's peel back the layers and separate what they're promising from what's actually going on under the hood. Okay, so first up, let's look at the promise. What exactly is this new messaging powerhouse supposed to do? What features are they actually bringing to the table? Well, for starters, the development speed here has been just wild. They went from those basic old school DMs to a full-blown rollout in only a matter of months, rebuilding the entire thing in Rust for better performance and security. And seeing key milestones like voice notes coming back on April 10th, 2026, really shows you how fast this new platform is evolving. And man, the feature list they're promising, it's pretty stacked. We're talking end-to-end encryption, messages that disappear, audio and video calls that don't even need your phone number, plus huge file sharing for premium users. On paper, this thing is built to go head-to-head with giants like WhatsApp and Telegram. All right, now for what might be the biggest promise of them all, what X is calling Bitcoin-style security. And get this, X is so confident about their new system that back in January 2026, Musk basically threw down the gauntlet, publicly inviting anyone and everyone to try and break their encryption. That's a really bold move. You're putting your entire reputation on the line when you do that. So, what's the secret sauce behind all this confidence? Well, it's a custom system they built called the Juicebox Protocol. Its whole purpose is to solve one of the biggest headaches with encrypted apps: how to easily and securely use your account on more than one device. Okay, so how does this Juicebox thing actually work? It's actually pretty clever. Your phone creates your secret key. Then, Juicebox splits that key into little pieces, or shards, and stores those pieces across different X servers. Then, when you get a new phone, all you do is enter a 4-digit PIN, the servers put the pieces back together, and boom, you're in. No more scanning QR codes from your old device. On paper, that sounds amazing, right? Super convenient, super user-friendly. But in the world of cryptography, convenience almost always comes with a trade-off. So now it's time for the reality check from the security experts. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the system is that convenient, where did they have to cut corners? What compromises did they make to create that smooth experience? And what does that mean for your actual privacy? Now, before we dive into the specific flaws, we need to wrap our heads around a really important concept called forward secrecy. Just think of it as the absolute gold standard for secure messaging. What it means is that every single message you send gets its own new temporary key. So even if a hacker steals your key today, they can't go back and read all your messages from yesterday. And boom, here is the first major red flag from security experts. XChat does not use forward secrecy. It relies on one single long-term key for your conversations. That means if that one key ever gets compromised, an attacker could potentially decrypt and read your entire message history. That's a catastrophic risk. Okay, the next big deal is where your secret keys actually live. Remember that super easy PIN recovery? Well, the reason it works is because bits and pieces of your secret key are stored on X's servers. Apps like Signal do the exact opposite. Your keys never leave your phone. They're on their device and your device only, which means you don't have to trust the company at all. And this quote from security researcher Suraj Satyanarayana just nails it. Storing keys on a server, even if they're split into pieces, creates a central target. It means you're vulnerable to an insider threat, a major hack on X's systems, or even a government demanding access to those servers. And one last thing that's super important: metadata. So XChat might encrypt the content of your message, but it doesn't hide who you're talking to, when you're talking, or how often.
And sometimes that information, the pattern of your communications, can be just as revealing as the words themselves. So, when you put it all together in a chart like this, it becomes crystal clear. You compare XChat to the industry standards, and the security compromises are obvious. No forward secrecy, server-side key storage, and low metadata privacy. These are pretty fundamental design choices that set it apart from the most secure apps out there. So, what's the takeaway here? What's the final verdict? Well, it's not that XChat is necessarily bad. It's more that its designers made a very, very deliberate choice. A trade-off between making things easy and making things secure. And this slide really says it all. You've got two different philosophies. On one hand, XChat goes all in on convenience, making recovery and multi-device access as smooth as possible. On the other hand, apps like Signal go all in on security, prioritizing things like forward secrecy and on-device keys, even if it adds a little friction. So what X has built is a messaging system that's, way more secure than the old DMs, and it's incredibly easy for the average person to use. But, and it's a big but, that ease of use comes at the expense of that hardcore, uncompromising security that's really become the standard in the privacy world. And that leaves us with one final, really important question. X is betting big that for most of us, convenience is what matters most. So as they build this massive everything app, the choice is really yours. What are you going to build your private life on? A seamless experience or absolute privacy? Thanks for watching.